AITA for demanding my mom apologize after she blew up at my girlfriend who she thought was being racist. I'm black and my girlfriend is Filipino. My parents aren't the biggest fans just because we come from different socioeconomic backgrounds and they don't think I should be with a rich girl. My parents came over for dinner last night and my girlfriend was going to cook. Neither of us cook much and we eat way too much takeout, so she decided to make fried chicken because it is something she made with her mom growing up. Her mom came here from the Philippines and I guess it is pretty popular over there. When my mom saw the fried chicken she thought that my girlfriend was either making fun of her or just going off a racial stereotype. She immediately started cussing at her and demanding an apology. I explained to my mom that fried chicken is popular in the Philippines and I googled it to show her that there are a lot of Filipino recipes. She calmed down but did not apologize. I asked if she was going to apologize and she said it was just a misunderstanding. I said she should still apologize and she got offended, so I asked her to leave. I'm not talking to her until she apologizes, but I don't know if that is too harsh. NTA, there are many cultures that like to fry chicken. Your mother is the one with the issue here. NTA, your mom made a mistake and jumped to conclusions in a way that hurt your GF. If she'd just apologized sincerely, the problem would end there. She is the one dragging it out by being stubborn. Since your family doesn't approve of the relationship, I think it's critical to set boundaries now that any rudeness to your GF will not be tolerated, otherwise this kind of thing will happen again. I love how you defended your girlfriend. Way to go! Exclamation mark. Don't let it go yet. In any case, lesson she's learning now about being polite to your girlfriend is invaluable. NTA. NTA. Even a misunderstanding is deserving of an apology. However, the way it's written, it seems as though it goes beyond a simple misunderstanding and delves into the territory of assumption, the way your mom decided to go off after simply seeing what was for dinner. In that case, it's fair to ask for an apology, too. Even a misunderstanding is deserving of an apology. That's what I teach my kindergarten kids. AITA for refusing to move. My F42 husband, M44, and I have been married for 21 years. We have two adult children, M22 and M24, one is in college out of state and the other is in the Navy. When we first got married, my husband was in Navy, and we spent the first 10 years of our marriage moving from place to place, wherever his new duty station was. I found it hard to make friends, and I could not keep a job. So I made a difficult decision and decided to be his arm. When he got out of the Navy 11 years ago, he took a job and we moved. 3 years in, he got offered a job in another part of the company, however, it was in another state, so we moved again. We stayed there for 6 years. Went back to college and got my degree and began looking for work. I found a job I liked in my field, and 6 months into working, he said he was offered a job with a new company and wanted to take it, but that would mean we would be moving almost 2,000 miles from where we were in a new state. I reluctantly agreed because the new state would have more job opportunities for me and we would be closer to our family, which is something that we have not had in many years. Last night my husband came up to me and said that there was a job opening in his company and he wanted to apply for it. It would mean a pay raise and better hours, but the caveat would be that we have to move again. We have been living in our new state for 3 years. I love it here. I have an amazing job and I am making great money. I finally have friends and am able to socialize. I told him that I am not moving again. Anytime we have to move, he always leaves first and I end up being responsible for selling/packing the house, and I am not doing that again. Our son's college is only 2 hours from here. We can see him twice a month. If we move, that means we would have at least a day's drive and would only be able to do that once or twice a year. Now my husband is upset with me and guilt-tripping me because he claims I do not support him. Told him that was BS because I spent most of my life moving from place to place to support his career. He told me that I am selfish and he is just trying to provide for us. I told him that we are more than comfortable where we are now, and that if he truly wants to take the job, he will be going alone. AITA for refusing to move again. Post update. I hope that this is allowed. I apologize for not being able to respond to everyone. And thank you all for your kindness and replies. To answer some questions. 1. My husband and I have been together since I was 15 and he was 17. He joined the Navy right after graduation from high school when he was 18 and I was 16, but had to wait 2 years before we could marry. 2. He works for a company that has plants in 15 states. He is currently in middle management, but if he wants to advance his career further, he would need to go to another plant out of state. 3. Financially we are more than comfortable. We do not need any more money. 4. My son plans to stay in the place he is after college. We have a great relationship with him and he comes home 1 time a month and we see him 1 time a month. My other son comes home on leave whenever he can and stays with us. We are very close to both of the boys. 5. I talked to my husband again tonight and told him quite firmly that moving again was not an option for me. The area he wants to move has very little jobs in my field and specialty in that area and I would need to commute more than an hour one way for a job versus the 20 minutes I have here. We are sandwiched between 2 major cities, and if we move we would be an hour from the most major city. I would also have to take a massive pay cut and work a menial job to build a new network to find employment in my field. 6. My husband is disappointed in me for not wanting to leave. He left to stay with a friend because he needs to think. He doesn't understand why I would force him to turn down an opportunity to advance his career further. I told him to take all the time he needs, but I am not moving again. I said I would revisit the possibility when I am ready for retirement in 15 years but no sooner. NTA. He's become accustomed to always getting it his own way with very little pushback. Now that's not just happening, he's trying to guilt and flip it around on you. Stand your ground. It's going to be tough because there's been a pattern over years which he will be loath to give up, but it's now or never for you. Polish that backbone. When one is accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Paraphrasing several dozen people. NTA. We work to live. We don't live to work. It sounds like you've achieved happiness where you are, and that is a wonderful achievement that you ought not discard in the pursuit of your, or your husband's, financial aspirations. Your marriage is a partnership, not a dictatorship. The questions that you and your husband need to be asking are, where do you want to spend the next 20 years? Where do you want to retire? If things stayed the way they are, can you live comfortably in retirement? NTA. Your husband should be discussing each move with you and it should be a combined decision, especially now that you have a job. His job and offer does not automatically have preference over yours. Did he ever discuss a move with you after he left the Navy? Or was it always we are doing this? I was still on the fence given the history with the Navy. Totally understandable needing to move and being used to it. But the fact that he expected you to sell and pack the house every time is what made up my mind on the judgment. For the post-Navy jobs, I can't believe the companies didn't give him time to settle his affairs and then move. It seems like he took it for granted that you would sell and pack the house every time. That too with little kids when they were younger. I could never imagine being in that situation alone. Stand up for yourself now. It is not too late. Have a conversation about the pros and cons. About long-term plans. It is okay if you end up deciding to move. Just make sure you have a say in it. Edit. Wow. Thank you for the likes, awards, and responses. Moving is so easy for him because he's not doing the hard part. You've sacrificed and moved around for him and he has the nerve to call you selfish and say you don't support him. He's selfish and emotionally manipulative. It's okay to put yourself first for once. NTA. Edit. Thank you kind internet friends for all of the awards. Edit to, a word. AITA for calling my wife a helicopter mom after she called the place my son applied at. My son James just turned 16 this month and he decided he wanted to start working a part-time job just to have some extra spending money and to start saving up. He hasn't had much luck. I doubt many places are interested in hiring a teen with limited hours to work. James started to get annoyed with my wife after he found out she submitted a few applications for him. We had a whole talk about that and reminded her that James wants to do this job hunting on his own. Over a week ago James applied at this local clothing store he likes to shop at since he's familiar with the place. He was told the usual line when he spoke to the hiring manager, "We'll review your application and give you a call." He was really hoping to get this one, but after a week, he figured they were not gonna call. Earlier when I got home there was some tension. James was locked in his room and my wife seemed upset. Spoke to him first and he told me my wife called the store earlier and berated the hiring manager for giving my son false hope and lying to him about giving him a call when they clearly weren't going to. James heard the call from upstairs because she was yelling, and when he confronted my wife she said she was just angry on his behalf, that they should have called him anyways to let him know he didn't get the job. But obviously they are only going to call applicants they actually plan to hire. He's angry at my wife right now for interfering, and now he's going to be too embarrassed to go to that store again since they know who he is. I also confronted my wife and she kept saying she was only looking out for him. However good her intentions were, I told her she needed to stop being a helicopter mom here or she could ruin opportunities for him by interfering. My wife went to our room and shut the door. James wants an apology from her for embarrassing him. My wife says she did nothing wrong and is mad at me for calling her that. She said I was the one being an ass for not caring if our son finds a job, and it's not fair for me to criticize her when she at least gives a damn. The way she's being right now, I have to ask if maybe I went too far and was an asshole for calling her a helicopter mom. NTA: one call from a parent will send any teen's application to the bin. She owes your son an apology and needs to step back. I think it is only fair if son would call her mother's workplace and berated her manager for making her work hard. She should have an easier schedule and more money. NTA: kid has basically zero chance of getting that job now. She went too far. NTA: what your wife accomplished is everyone knowing your son as the guy whose mom calls and berates the manager for not hiring the guy. What did she actually want to accomplish with her little shouting match? Angry on behalf of the son? Nah, that's a load of bull. She is actively interfering in your son's life, making her a helicopter parent. NTA: he is being a helicopter mom, and the fact is that they could very well have been going to call him. My last job took 3 weeks to call me for an interview, and even if they don't hire him now, he could have tried again if she hadn't sabotaged him. She's robbing him of potential job opportunities with her help and she needs to stop.